Jane's world crumbled. Byron, her love, was gone. He promised her forever. Now he was a stranger. The pain was unbearable, sharper than any knife. Then the bleeding started. Her baby, their baby, was gone too. Misery engulfed her. Jane lay in her small bed. Tears flowed endlessly. How could this be? Byron, her Byron, was gone. He vowed to love her always. After their graduation, he said, he would marry her. Lies, all lies. The world outside continued as if nothing had happened. The Nairobi Matatus roared, their horns blared, a symphony of chaos, but Jane's world was silent except for the sound of her own sobs. She was lost in a storm of grief. Word on the street traveled fast. Byron had a new love. Veronica, a girl known for her beauty and her expensive tastes. Jane scoffed. Was this what Byron wanted? A trophy? Someone to show off? Veronica. Jane had seen her around campus. A sleek, polished creature, always adorned in the latest fashions. Byron, blinded by her glamour, had fallen into her trap. He chased after her, leaving Jane in his dust. The thought of Byron with Veronica was like acid in Jane's stomach. He had abandoned her. For what? For someone who would drain his pockets and break his heart? Jane couldn't understand. Days turned into weeks, weeks into months. Jane was lost in a fog of despair. She couldn't eat, couldn't sleep, couldn't think. Her once vibrant spirit was crushed. Her small room became her prison. The walls seemed to close in on her, suffocating her with grief and loneliness. The world outside was too much to bear. The noise, the crowds, the constant reminders of her loss. Jane's family tried to reach her, her mother, her sisters. Their voices sounded distant, muffled, like echoes from another world. She couldn't face them, couldn't bear to see the pity in their eyes. One day, there was a knock at the door. Jane's sister, Amina, stood there. Her eyes were filled with concern, but also with a glimmer of hope. She told Jane about a business opportunity. The Koinange Street Market was a bustling hub of activity, a place where women sold everything from vegetables to clothes. Amina had heard about a group of women who were starting a new venture, selling traditional Kenyan crafts to tourists. Jane was hesitant. She hadn't left her room in months. The thought of facing the world again filled her with dread. But Amina insisted. She knew Jane needed a lifeline, something to pull her out of the abyss. Section 5, the hustle begins. The first day at Koinange was overwhelming. The noise, the smells, the sheer number of people. Jane felt dizzy, lost in a sea of humanity. But as she started to set up her stall, a strange thing happened. The women around her, her fellow vendors, welcomed her with open arms. They shared their stories, their laughter, their strength. Jane began to feel a flicker of something she hadn't felt in a long time. Hope. Joining the Koinange business was a turning point. It forced Jane out of her isolation, into a world that was vibrant, chaotic, and full of life. The work was hard, the days were long, but Jane found solace in the rhythm of the market. Every morning, Jane woke up before dawn. She joined the other women as they navigated the crowded streets, their laughter echoing through the pre-dawn light. They helped each other unload their wares, their camaraderie a shield against the challenges of the day. The sun beat down on their stalls as they hawked their goods, colourful kangas, intricate beadwork, hand-carved wooden figures. Jane learned to bargain, to haggle, to charm customers with her warmth and her stories. The money Jane earned wasn't much, but it was enough. Enough to pay her rent, to buy food, to ease the burden on her family. More importantly, it gave her a sense of purpose, a reason to get up every morning. As Jane's business grew, so did her confidence. She found her voice again, the voice that Byron had tried to silence. She learned to stand tall, to meet the world head-on, to embrace her strength. She made friends among the market women, women who had faced their own challenges, who had lost husbands, children, homes, but who had risen above their circumstances. Women who had taught Jane the true meaning of resilience. Jane discovered a strength she never knew she possessed, a strength that came from within, a strength that allowed her to face each day with courage and determination. Byron was a distant memory, a ghost from a past life. One day, Jane saw Byron at the market. He looked gaunt, defeated. Veronica was nowhere to be seen. He approached Jane, his eyes filled with regret. He mumbled an apology, begged for a second chance. Jane simply smiled, not a smile of bitterness, but one of understanding. She realized that Byron was not the man she thought he was, and that was okay. She had moved on, she had risen above the ashes of their broken dreams. "I wish you well, Byron," she said softly, and with that she turned and walked away. She had found her own happiness, her own success. She didn't need Byron, she had herself. Jane's journey was far from over, but she faced the future with a newfound sense of purpose. She had survived heartbreak, loss, and despair, and in the process she had found her true self. The Koinange Street Market, once a symbol of her struggle, was now a testament to her strength. It was the place where she had fallen apart, and it was the place where she had put herself back together, stronger, wiser, and more resilient than ever before. Jane's story is a reminder that even in the darkest of times, there is always hope, that within each of us lies an untapped well of strength, and that sometimes the greatest journeys are the ones that lead us back to ourselves.